Atomic Habits by James Clear. Section 1, The Fundamentals, The Power of Atomic Habits. Success is the product of daily habits, not once-in-a-lifetime transformations. That's where James Clear begins. In a world obsessed with dramatic overnight success, Atomic Habits gently whispers a deeper truth. Change doesn't need to be massive, it just needs to be consistent. A 1% improvement every day seems trivial, right? But compound that over time, and it's revolutionary. That's the soul of Atomic Habits: small changes with massive impacts. The compound effect of tiny gains. James Clear draws a sharp picture. Imagine you're on a plane leaving Los Angeles bound for New York. If the pilot adjusts the nose of the plane just 3.5 degrees south, you'll land in Washington, D.C. instead. A tiny change, almost invisible, that alters the outcome completely. This is what habits do. They compound, for better or worse. You don't rise to the level of your goals. Clear reminds us you fall to the level of your systems. Why habits matter? Habits are the autopilot of our lives. Once set, they run in the background, shaping how we think, feel, and act. They determine whether we become the version of ourselves that we aspire to be or whether we stagnate, lost in old cycles. James Clear doesn't just tell you that habits matter, he shows you why. He breaks it down through the lens of science, psychology, and personal stories. From athletes to CEOs to regular people, those who win at life are masters of habit. But there's a trap: bad habits work the same way. A missed workout, a poor meal, procrastinating just a little, it's easy to overlook. Easy to excuse. Until months pass, and you're left wondering, how did I get here? The answer: tiny, unnoticeable choices made consistently. Section 2, Identity, Who you become. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. James Clear flips the traditional goal-setting advice on its head. Most people focus on outcomes: I want to lose 10 pounds, I want to write a book, or I want to be more productive. But Clear urges you to start deeper. Not with the outcome. Not even with the process. Start with identity. The 3 layers of behavior change. There are 3 levels to changing your behavior. 1 Outcomes, what you get. 2 Processes, what you do. 3 Identity, what you believe. Most people try to change from the outside in. They chase results, tweak routines, but never touch the core: who they believe they are. Clear's wisdom: true behavior change is identity change. You don't try to stop smoking. You become a non-smoker. You don't try to run a marathon. You become a runner. When your actions align with your identity, the habit sticks. And when they don't, you'll always feel the friction. So start by asking, who is the kind of person I want to become? And then, what does that person do every day? Section 3, The 4 Laws of Behavior Change. This is where Clear's framework shines. He introduces the backbone of the book: The 4 Laws of Behavior Change, a simple set of rules rooted in behavioral science. 1. Make it obvious. 2. Make it attractive. 3. Make it easy. 4. Make it satisfying. Each law represents a step in the habit loop. Let's unpack them. Law 1, Make it obvious. Habits begin with a cue, a trigger that tells your brain to initiate behavior. If you want to build better habits, you need to see them clearly. Clear introduces habit stacking, linking a new habit to a current one. After I brushed my teeth, I will meditate for 1 minute. After I pour my coffee, I will journal 1 sentence. This method leverages existing patterns to create new ones. It's powerful, simple, and sneaky effective. He also recommends a practice called the habit scorecard. Write down your daily routines and label each one as a good, bad, or neutral habit. Awareness is key because you can't change what you don't notice. Law 2, Make it attractive. If a habit feels good, your brain wants more. That's where the power of temptation bundling comes in. Combine something you want to do with something you need to do. I'll only watch Netflix while I'm on the treadmill. I'll listen to audiobooks only when doing the dishes. Clear also discusses the social aspect of habits. Surround yourself with people who embody your desired behavior, and your standards rise. You mimic what's around you, so choose wisely. Law 3, make it easy. Clear is brutal about one thing: motivation is overrated. You don't need more willpower, you need fewer steps. Make your habits easy to start. Reduce friction. Want to work out? Sleep in your gym clothes. Want to read more? Leave a book on your pillow. He introduces the 2-minute rule. Scale your habit down to just 2 minutes. Instead of run 5 miles, just put on your running shoes. That's it. Because starting is the hardest part, and once you're moving, momentum carries you forward. Law 4, make it satisfying. Humans crave immediate rewards. That's why long-term goals are hard. So Clear recommends adding an instant bit of pleasure to good habits. Habit tracking is one method: checking off a calendar, seeing a streak grow. It's a small but satisfying win that makes you want to keep going. And when you miss a day, that's okay. Clear's golden rule: never miss twice. Section 4, breaking bad habits, the inverse laws. James Clear has already walked us through the positive side of behavior change. Now, it's time to dismantle the bad habits that hold us back. And he does it by flipping the same 4 laws in reverse. To break a bad habit, you need to: 1. Make it invisible. 2. Make it unattractive. 3. Make it difficult. 4. Make it unsatisfying. Let's explore how this works. Inverse of Law 1, make it invisible. Out of sight, out of mind. Clear emphasizes the power of environment design. If your bad habit is triggered by visual cues, then your first defense is to eliminate those cues entirely. Want to stop snacking on junk food? Don't just resist it, remove it from your house. Want to spend less time on your phone? Banish it from the bedroom or use grayscale mode. Control your space, and you control your triggers. You don't need more discipline. You need fewer temptations. Inverse of Law 2, make it unattractive. Clear dives into reframing here. Instead of romanticizing your bad habits, learn to see the downside. Instead of "I need a cigarette to calm down," reframe it as "I'm damaging my lungs every time I smoke." If you highlight the negative aspects of a bad habit, health risks, wasted time, lost energy, it becomes less appealing. Pair that with a new identity and the shift begins. I'm not someone who skips workouts anymore. I'm the kind of person who respects my time. Inverse of Law 3, make it difficult. Clear emphasizes a beautiful truth: friction works both ways. If ease makes good habits flourish, then difficulty kills bad ones. Want to stop watching TV? Unplug it and take out the batteries from the remote. Want to check social media less? Delete the apps or log out after each session. The more steps between you and the habit, the less likely you are to do it. Make the behavior harder, and eventually, you'll quit not out of willpower but because it's just too much hassle. Inverse of Law 4, make it unsatisfying. The brain craves reward, and bad habits often deliver instant gratification. To break them, you need to make the consequences immediate and uncomfortable. Enter the accountability partner. Tell someone your goal and let them hold you to it. Even better? Set up a habit contract, a commitment device where failure leads to real consequences: lost money, public embarrassment, or some kind of penalty that stings. Clear's point is simple: bad habits stick because they are easy, rewarding, and socially acceptable. But you can flip the script. Make them harder, less rewarding, and socially visible, and they start to fall apart. Section 5, the role of environment, design beats discipline. Environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. James Clear introduces a revolutionary concept here: instead of relying on motivation, let your environment do the heavy lifting. Every habit is context-driven. You drink coffee not just because you like it but because it's morning, and your mug is sitting right next to the machine. You scroll your phone because it's already in your hand, not because it's meaningful. Clear challenges us to become architects of our space. Want to eat better? Put fruit on the counter, hide the chips. Want to practice guitar? Keep it on a stand in the living room. Want to write more? Place a journal on your desk and remove distractions. Shape your surroundings and your habits will follow. And it's not just about physical space, your digital environment matters too. From app layout to notification settings, everything you touch should support who you want to become. Section 6. Mastering the Art of Habit Formation, Advanced Tactics. At this point, you've got the foundation. But James Clear doesn't stop there. He brings in next-level strategies to master the game long-term. The plateau of latent potential. One of the most important ideas in the book is this: habits often don't show results immediately. Picture an ice cube in a room at 25 degrees. You raise the temperature slowly, 26, 27, 28, but nothing changes. Then you hit 32, and suddenly, it melts. That's how progress works. Most people quit in the valley of disappointment when they don't see results fast enough. But Clear reminds us, just because you can see the outcome doesn't mean the process isn't working. Success is the product of patience and consistency. The Goldilocks rule, staying motivated. Clear introduces the Goldilocks rule. Humans stay motivated when the task is not too easy, not too hard, but just right. Slightly beyond their current ability. Think of video games. They constantly scale in difficulty to match your skill. That's why they are addicting. Apply the same to your habits. If it's too easy, you get bored. Too hard, you give up. The sweet spot? Challenges that push you, just a little. He also emphasizes measurement, tracking your habits. Why? Because what gets measured gets improved. But beware, don't confuse the measure with the goal. The point is progress, not perfection. The downside of habits: beware the identity trap. While habits are powerful, they can also trap you if you're not careful. Clear warns of overattachment to identity. I'm a runner, I'm a writer, I'm a CEO. What happens when life changes? Injuries, layoffs, transitions, they can shake you. That's why flexibility matters. Stay rooted in your values, not rigid in your labels. Be someone who adapts. Who evolves. The goal isn't to be perfect, it's to never stop growing. Section 7. Real-world applications, atomic habits in action. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. James Clear doesn't just provide theory, he brings his concepts to life through vivid, real-world examples. These stories anchor the abstract into reality, showing us exactly how habits reshape lives, careers, and entire identities. The British cycling team, marginal gains mastered. Once ridiculed on the international stage, the British cycling team underwent a transformation that stunned the world. The secret? A relentless focus on marginal gains, tiny 1% improvements across everything they did. From redesigning bike seats to testing which pillow gave riders the best sleep, no detail was too small. These micro improvements compounded, and soon, British cyclists dominated the Olympics and Tour de France. James Clear uses this as the ultimate case study of atomic habits at scale. It wasn't talent, it was systems. It wasn't willpower, it was environment, process, and consistency. Change doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be persistent. A cancer survivor becomes a power lifter. In a more personal story, Clear shares the journey of a man who, after surviving cancer, built his body back through tiny, consistent habits. He didn't start with deadlifting hundreds of pounds. He started by walking into the gym. Then lifting the bar. Then adding a little weight. Every day, a little better. His transformation wasn't heroic in one moment, it was made in quiet daily decisions. This story brings home the emotional heart of atomic habits. Habits aren't about achievement. They are about who you're becoming. Writers, artists, and creators. From writing books to building YouTube empires, creatives across industries have used Clear's methods to overcome procrastination and master their craft. One artist started drawing for just 5 minutes a day. That turned into 15. Then into full sessions. Years later, She became a recognized illustrator not because she waited for inspiration, but because she showed up daily. Clear emphasizes this truth: you don't need to feel inspired. You need to start. Identity follows action. Momentum follows movement. Habit tracking in business. Companies use habits too, just on a different scale. A sales team uses tracking systems to follow up with leads. A tech startup engineers its workflow to encourage rapid iteration. A manager introduces daily huddles for better team alignment. In all of these, success isn't the result of heroic efforts, it's baked into the culture. It's systematized. That's the atomic habits difference. You build systems so success becomes automatic. Section 8. Habit shaping, from tiny to transformational. Small habits don't add up, they compound. At this stage of the book, James Clear introduces the idea of habit shaping, a process for gradually evolving a habit into something powerful over time. Start with something small and sustainable. Once that habit is established, you can 1. Standardize before you optimize. 2. Layer complexity only after consistency. Let's break that down. Standardize before you optimize. Too many people try to perfect things right out of the gate. But Clear says, first, make it routine. Then, make it excellent. Don't worry about writing a bestseller. Just write every day. Don't obsess over the perfect workout plan. Just show up at the gym. When something becomes standard in your life, when it no longer requires mental energy, you can start refining it. That's how tiny habits become world-class skills. Mastery is the result of volume. Clear underscores the importance of repetition over perfection. In one study, a photography teacher divided his class in two. One group was graded on the quantity of photos taken, the other on quality. The result? The quantity group produced better photos because they practiced more. They experimented, failed, learned, and improved. The quality group? Paralyzed by perfection. Clear's takeaway: motion beats deliberation. Start moving. Iterate. Improve through volume. Section 9. Building resilience, when life gets messy. Let's be honest, life doesn't care about your perfect habit plan. Things go wrong. You get sick. Work piles up. You lose motivation. Clear doesn't ignore this. He leans into it. The real strength of atomic habits isn't that they are perfect, it's that they are resilient. Habits should be designed to withstand life's chaos. Missed a workout? Get back to it tomorrow. Failed to meditate today? Start again tonight. Clear gives us a mantra: never miss twice. That's the difference between someone who succeeds and someone who falls off track. Identity-based resilience. When your habits are tied to your identity, recovery becomes easier. If you see yourself as a healthy person, one cheat meal doesn't destroy you. If you're a writer, skipping a day doesn't make you a failure. It's a blip. And you return to your baseline faster. This mental shift is everything. You're no longer chasing transformation, you've already transformed. You're just living it out daily. Section 10. The path to mastery, becoming the type of person who wins. The secret to getting results that last is to never stop making improvements. By now, James Clear has made it abundantly clear: success isn't about massive shifts, it's about mastering the small. And that mastery doesn't happen by chance. It's crafted through continual repetition, refinement, and reflection. Mastery is the process, not the prize. Mastery is not a destination, it's a mindset. A commitment to the process itself. Clear talks about the endless feedback loop that great performers live in. Act. Assess. Adjust. Repeat. They don't just show up, they optimize over time. And they do it by listening to feedback from their environment, their results, and their internal compass. Mastery doesn't mean you've made it. It means you're never done learning. Professionals stick to the schedule. Amateurs let life get in the way. Falling in love with boredom. This might be the hardest and most profound lesson in the book. Clear says the greatest threat to success isn't failure. It's boredom. Why? Because the day-to-day of habits is repetitive. It's mundane. It doesn't feel exciting to floss every night, eat a salad again, or write another 500 words. The winners? They show up anyway. They don't rely on motivation, they rely on identity and consistency. They fall in love with a routine, with the quiet discipline. And that's where greatness is born, not in the rush of inspiration, but in the stillness of repetition. The only difference between successful and unsuccessful people is that successful people still do the work even when they don't feel like it. Plateaus and breakthroughs. Clear introduces the idea of plateaus, those stretches where it feels like nothing is changing. This is where most people quit. But breakthroughs don't come after massive efforts. They come after long stretches of unseen preparation. It's like heating a block of ice. Nothing happens for a long time, until suddenly everything shifts. Clear teaches us to trust that process. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Section 11, Habits and Human Connection, How Habits Shape Relationships. Clear doesn't stop at personal development. He takes it into your relationships. Because habits aren't just things you do alone. They influence your social world, and your social world influences them. The power of social norms. We imitate the habits of 3 groups. 1. The close, family and friends. 2. The many, the tribe or culture. 3. The powerful, those we admire. Understanding this is crucial. If you're surrounded by people who skip workouts, overspend, or avoid ambition, it's incredibly hard to go against the grain. The solution? Join groups where your desired behavior is the norm. Hang out with people who live the identity you want to adopt. Because nothing sustains motivation like shared values. Habits that bond or break. In close relationships, small habits matter deeply. Saying I love you before leaving the house. Putting your phone away at dinner. Active listening in tough moments. Clear suggests that micro-habits like these build emotional deposits. Miss them too often, and your relationships erode. Habits shape your life. But they also shape how people experience you. Section 12, Stacking Habits for Exponential Growth. If one habit can shift your identity, imagine what happens when they compound. Clear introduces habit stacking, a technique where you build a new habit onto an existing one. It follows the formula. After I current habit, I will new habit. For example, after I brushed my teeth, I'll journal 1 line. After I make coffee, I'll meditate for 2 minutes. After I eat dinner, I'll prepare tomorrow's to-do list. This works because your brain already trusts the current habit. By latching a new one onto it, you lower resistance. Over time, this creates a chain reaction of positive behaviors, the personal ecosystem of growth. The chain reaction of tiny wins. What starts as brushing your teeth mindfully can turn into daily meditation, which turns into deeper sleep, which makes workouts easier, which improves mood, which strengthens relationships, and so on. Good habits rarely exist in isolation. One ripple creates another. Atomic habits, properly stacked and aligned with identity, create not just change but transformation. Section 13, Final Synthesis, Who You Become. James Clear ends Atomic Habits with a message that echoes deep. You are not the sum of your goals. You are the sum of your systems. He doesn't want you to aim for perfection. He wants you to aim for alignment. Between who you are and what you do. Between your values and your choices. Between your habits and your identity. When those pieces click into place, success becomes inevitable. You no longer chase results, you embody them. You don't achieve identity, you reveal it through action. Closing thoughts, your new starting point. So, what now? You don't need to change everything. Just pick one habit. One identity. One atomic step. Commit to that. Then let time, systems, and the invisible power of habit do the rest. Because transformation doesn't come with a bang, it comes quietly, in the background, one ordinary day at a time. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. But now you know how to build those systems and the person you want to become is already within reach.